We're here at Connected Britain 2019 with Belinda Fawcett, General Counsel and Director of Property Estates at Cornerstone. Belinda, what do you see as the key opportunities for the UK resulting from the rollout of high-capacity digital infrastructure?
So I think the UK is far behind the rest of the world in terms of connectivity, both in terms of 4G and 5G. I believe there are sort of 9 other countries that are actually already 5G connected. And the benefits of having this level of connectivity are massive. Just not just from an economic point of view, from a social point of view. We know that people are prepared to pay more for 5G. They want the speed, the resilience, the latency that it's going to offer. And as we go forward with AI, with our connected homes, connected cars, we will need that higher level of connectivity to drive all those innovations, which is the future of the UK economy. We're just not going to be able to advance and compete on the world stage unless we have that connectivity. It really does need to be considered as the sort of the top priority, in my opinion, for the government and for the industry.
Is full fibre and 5G a realistic goal in the UK?
So I think the simple answer to that is yes. But I think we have some huge challenges as an industry, and it's more about to get a fully enabled 5G network. We need to actually build the infrastructure that supports that, and that's where we have major challenges at the moment. So the government introduced the new legislation in 2017, the Electronic Communications Code. And that was meant to make the rollout of this very critical national infrastructure. It was meant to make it easier, quicker and cheaper for the operators, because over the last 25 years, as the industry has evolved, the cost to the operators of building this infrastructure has grown exponentially. And I understand it's one of the most expensive countries to roll out, to deploy this infrastructure. Unfortunately, since the new legislation was introduced, there's been a huge stagnation in the deployment of this infrastructure due to really hostility from the landowning community in particular. And what we're finding is that I suppose people across the UK are unwilling to see the rents that they were historically getting for the infrastructure falling. But that's where they have to go. The legislation says that. Jeremy Wright has been out there saying we support that. It's absolutely critical for the future of the digital economy. We want to see ourselves as world leaders in 5G. But we can't do that unless we have the infrastructure that supports that, whether that's fibre, whether that's sort of the mobile infrastructure that supports it. And I think my concern is that we're 18 months into in this programme. The government has said they're supporting it. They've set up the barrier busting teams. But it's an awful lot of words. So we hear the government saying an awful lot of things, and there's the barrier busting teams. But we still are sort of making very slow progress, and we're up against even local authorities and public bodies are resistant to us putting in this infrastructure at a reasonable cost that makes it a viable proposition. So I think the answer to your question is yes, but we have a long way to go, and we absolutely need, in particular I think the government, to support us more proactively and actually do something about it. You know, words are not enough. So they actually have to come out there, support the industry and make it easier, quicker and cheaper to deploy this infrastructure.
So what's your predictions for the next 12 months then?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of what we have to do for 5G, so to support that, obviously, there's got to be a lot of new sites, there's got to be a lot of densification. And as I say, all of that requires the infrastructure to support that. So unless we actually get this new legislation to work, unless we persuade the landowning community that the value to them is more from a connected society, a connected UK, rather than the rental levels they would have historically received from the infrastructure on their building or on their land, I think the next 12 months will be very challenging for us. And we're already trying to take cases to tribunal, which is what the legislation said, but the tribunal is slow and it's quite cumbersome and it's also expensive. And what we're finding is that also a lot of the cases are actually being appealed, which then takes even longer. So I think there's a real urgency behind this if we are to roll out the 5G network that we all need.
Why is it important to be involved with an event like Connected Britain?
Well, I think it all gives us the opportunity to hear different views, different ideas, gain support for what we need to do. I mean, certainly from a Cornerstone perspective, we feel we're really driving this agenda, talking with the government, trying to support the implementation of this really critical piece of legislation. And also from a planning perspective, because there's a lot of planning laws that need to change as well in order to support us. But I think coming to something like this gives me the opportunity and my team the opportunity to meet with a lot of the other operators, fibre providers, DCMS, all the sort of people who are here, and we can all share those ideas and hopefully maybe come up with some new ideas as how we can actually address this problem.
Great, thank you for talking to us.
No problem, thank you.